So I know I'm late to getting this review, but I just saw the new Turtles movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mayhem. And yeah, so I'm a huge Turtles fan, so I figured I'd give my review. And I know it's late to the party, but I have Paramount Plus, so I didn't go watch it in the theaters because honestly, it looked a little too kiddish for me, and I just didn't seem that interested in it. And so I just didn't want to go to the theater. So waited for it to come on Paramount Plus, and I just watched it last night. Yeah, to me, so every iteration of the Turtles, which I've seen, if you start with the original cartoon, the first season was made by a completely different production company. Episodes 1 through 6 was made by a different production company with the goal of selling toys. The toys turned out to be a huge hit, same with the TV show. So they made season 2, 3, 4, 5, and all that stuff. And that went on a different production company. So the first season was actually felt a little more adult and darker in tone. Obviously, there's some kid joke stuff in there. But then the later seasons was definitely way more goofy. And the first season's actually still holds up, while the later seasons, I don't know, not as... They don't really hold up as much. Sometimes I'm like, ugh, like it's a little dumb. But anyways, they went with this new movie was way more kiddish. And if you compare every new iteration of the Turtles movie compared to this one did the worst. This one did the worst. The first Turtles from 1990, that movie, production budget, $13 million, went on to make $200-something million. It was the highest grossing independent movie of all time until it got broken like 20 years later. And then, Turtles 2 and 3, this went down. The next one would be TMNT that came out in like the mid 2000s. It was a CGI movie. Production budget, $35 million, went on to make almost $100 million. So all 3X. Next one was Michael Bay. Michael Bay, production budget, $125, went on to make almost $500 million. And so that was basically 4 times its budget. And then it had a sequel, Shadows, which doubled its budget. And then this one, which production budget 70, good on it for making a movie for 70 million when movies these days are like 300 to 400 million. And went on and made like 170 million. So a little over double its budget. So basically made a little bit of money. Usually it's usually about 2 to 2.5x is where you need to make your money, because usually advertising is double the production budget. So 70 million in production, 70 million in advertising. Then also the theater takes a hit, a cut of that. So usually about 2.5 is where you need to be to break even. So this one like probably just barely broke even, maybe lost a little, I don't know. But anyways, it did the worst. I can see why. I'm gonna rant. I hate it when movies do this. I hate it. There should just be kids movies and then adult movies. You can have kids watch adult movies. It usually doesn't work the other way around. Adults don't want to go watch kids movies because it just doesn't appeal to them. There are people out there that do. And what do I mean by kids movies and adult movies? I'm not saying because it's a cartoon that it's kids. No. I'm saying the tone, the way it is. Look at Turtles #1 from 1990. Made the most money out of any independent movie of all time. Production budget $13 million, made $200 million. I would love those returns. Watch that movie. That's an adult movie. It has adult themes, adult tone, adult everything, adult jokes, cussing and swearing. The only reason it's PG is because they didn't have any killing that they showed. I mean, the Shredder, but he lived. But they didn't show any actual killing, slicing off anything. So no blood and guts, no heavy swearing, and no nudity sex scenes. That's what makes it R. You take those elements out of it, that's why it's PG. And obviously it wasn't as violent because it's people in costumes, so the fighting was a little not very good, but it was a little kind of low budget. So that's like an adult movie, PG. Doesn't mean just because it's PG that's for kids. Star Wars, PG. It's an adult movie. Adult themes, adult everything. Obviously has stuff in there for kids that are more kid-centric, and it's an adult movie. You can have a PG movie, adult movie. You can have a cartoon that's like G or something. Like you can have some like Pixar movies, some Disney movies, where it's like The Lion King deals with like real emotion and stuff. Yeah, it has kids stuff in it, but adults can appreciate it. You make the movie for adults, you have kids stuff in there. The Turtles, the new one, it's literally mostly kids. There's a few adult jokes in there, very few, but it's made for for just kids. And that's where I think it went wrong. You've got to stop doing that. Make movies that are like for basically adults, and then kids will like it regardless. I was like 5 years old when Turtles came out. 5. You know how many times I watched it? Love that movie. Every time I watched it, I'd get some like pillows and stuff, start fighting with my brothers, and like get some like sticks and pretend we're like Leonardo, Donatello, all that kind of stuff. And watched it all the time. Loved the Turtles. And I was a kid, but watched that movie. It's basically more adult. Kids will like anything. They like anything. So that's where they went wrong with this movie. That's why I think it didn't make that much money. Probably lost a little bit of money. And they said they're going to make a sequel. I don't really know. It's such a huge IP. Like, it's worth billions of dollars. So they always want to pump this out. So even if they lose money on the movie, they'll make it up in toys. But that's the problem. It's like, look, I was still buying the toys when that movie came out because I loved the Turtles and I thought the Turtles were cool. So even if you make a movie and you're thinking, well, we got to make it for kids so kids watch it and they want the toys, they'll buy their toys regardless. Kids watch the Avengers and they're still buying Iron Man, everything. That's a PG-13 movie. And that's like an adult movie. Yes, but kids can watch it. So that's the problem with this movie. They made it like too kiddish. And the thing is, they wrote these. Okay, I'll go with the good. The good. Animation, loved it. I love how they're doing this 3D, 2D style. Love the animation. Other things that are good. There's some cool characters in there that I've never seen before on the big screen. So you got like Leatherhead, Wingnut, Superfly, all these like weird characters that you get to see. And that was cool. I like that. Jackie Chan's Splinter, although a very different Splinter, he was probably the funniest character out of the whole thing. So I can appreciate his difference as a unique version of that character. His fight scene was pretty cool. I'll touch on that later. Okay, that's the good. Now for the bad. The Turtles. They're annoying. They're not funny. They're just annoying. So I feel like it was written by adults who don't have kids, who are trying to write kids. Like, so it just comes off as weird. Like, I don't think kids really act like this. First of all, they're supposed to be teenagers. They want to go to high school. In the lore, they're all different ages, but let's just say they're all the same age. Teenagers don't act like that. They're just like really annoying. Like, there's some elements of them, like, yeah, they act like teenagers, but other elements, no. So they're kind of annoying. April's whatever. She has some things that are super annoying about her, but then she has other parts where it's like, okay, that's, it's the positives and negatives kind of balance out to this at nothing, just like flat, like a 5 out of 10 character. The Turtles are kind of annoying. They don't do that much fighting, and the fighting they do is like very small amounts, and it's like you get like this much like cool fighting scenes from the Turtles. Like, you basically get one cool fighting scene from the Turtles. And then you get like a montage, which is kind of cool because it's more artistic, I would say, is the coolness, not the actual fighting. It's the artistic. And beyond that, you get one cool fighting scene, and then you get like an artistic fighting scene, which is kind of cool. And that's it. That is all the fighting you really get from the Turtles. Like, literally it. No more ninja. The next time they fight the big bad boss at the very end is they push him into a river lake, and that's it. So they don't really fight. They just get thrown away, and then they push them, and then they have to fight this giant mutant, and their whole thing is basically pass this little anti-ooze canister and put it into the mutant's like mouth or something, hole in him, and that's it. So there's no real fighting. They did a stupid thing where at the end you think like, oh, they're gonna have this big battle because there's the bad guy with his mutant team, and then there's the Turtles and Splinter, and there's gonna be a big battle. No, they do this thing. It's like, hey, how about we don't fight each other and we all become good guys? So all the bad guys become good guys, except one, Superfly. So, yeah, that was dumb, stupid. But Splinter has a cool fight scene, and he probably has the best fight scene in it. And which is kind of lame. It's a Turtles movie, and they always give Splinter the best fight scene. Splinter can have a great fight scene, but give the Turtles some really cool fight scenes too. So they didn't do that. Splinter was funny, different iteration. There's a lot of weird things that they did that I do not know why they did it. They keep on doing this thing where Leonardo is attracted to April and is trying to get with her. I just find that odd. I don't like that. I know they've done storylines like that in the past, but when you first meet the Turtles in April, they become friends. That's how they bond. They bond over being a friend. Maybe like down the line in some comic book, they have some romantic interest, but it's more of like a friendship. And I don't like how it starts off with Leonardo trying to hook up with April O'Neil. It's just odd. I don't like that. And it's like kind of like a kid's movie, and it's definitely geared towards like kids. And I'm like, it's just weird. And then on top of that, Splinter starts making out with a giant cockroach. And at first you don't even know if it's a man or a woman. And I think it turns out to be a woman because they put a dress on this cockroach. I'm not even joking. This gross big mutant cockroach, and starts making out with tongue and everything. And you're just like, what is this? It's like, I know Seth Rogen had his hand in it, and I'm like, this belongs in The Boys, not in this Turtles weird thing. It's just, I don't know. The tone of it was like kind of all over the place. There's some parts that were good, some parts that were bad, some parts that it's like, roll your eyes. Overall, the story was fine. The plot was fine. It's just the Turtles were kind of annoying. They didn't do enough action-y stuff. I don't like how it's like they're trying to like gear it towards kids. They need to just do the adult one. Make an R-rated one. That's what you need to do. You made your kid one. Made your G-rated one. Now make an R-rated one. I guarantee it will make more money than that one. So I don't know. It was this. Overall, it's a nothing. It's a 5 out of 10. It's average. It is literally average. Like, it has some qualities that I do not like about it. It has some qualities I do like about it. Mainly the art and some other things. And so it just kind of evens out to be exactly average. It's an average film. I can see why it didn't make a bunch of money, because if I walked out of the theater and I told people, I'd be like, it's an average film. Like, if I wasn't a Turtles fan, I'm trying to think if I would enjoy this. Maybe, but not like a ton. Like, if I knew who the Turtles was, but I was not a Turtles fan, and I just like watched this randomly, I'd be like, oh, it's cool, whatever. Like, I wouldn't give massive praises, like, go out and watch it, you have to see it, it's a must see. I would not say that. As a Turtles fan, that's why I went and watched it. So I think the only people that actually went to watch it are Turtles fans, and now older Turtles fans, like taking their kids and stuff like that. That's it. So you really just made a movie just for Turtle fans, but you didn't make a movie for Turtle fans in the sense that this is what they want. You just like, here's some Turtle stuff, and some people went and watched it. I just don't, it was just a whatever movie. It's not going to be remembered. I honestly think every iteration was better than this one. I do not wish them to make a sequel. I wish them to go back to the drawing board and make a different one. I think they keep on messing up with the Turtles. I think they really need to go back to the original comic books, make a serious, the Turtles from 1990 was the closest thing to the comic books that we got. Make a serious, dark, it could be rated R, it could be PG-13. You know how I feel about PG-13? I hate it. But you can make a PG-13 Turtles, dark Turtles. It would literally have to be super, super dark. I'm talking like the original 90s cartoon, Batman, like that kind of dark. But they are ninjas compared to Batman, so they do need to use their swords and size and stab people, which then means you need blood to make it more realistic. You got to go R. You have to make a Turtles that's R. I think it would do awesome. This is, here, Hollywood, listen to my advice. This is what you do. You start off with 4 Turtles. We don't need an origin story. Who cares? Someone's captured. O'Neil, Splinter, I don't really care. You make it like the Raid. They have to basically go from point A to point B. It's like a video game. Basically, you can make them go up. I don't know if you guys seen the Raid. It's awesome. You basically have to go from one level up. That's what the Turtles do. The Turtles can't contact the police. They can't contact anyone else because no one likes them or they don't know they exist. Whatever the story you want. So the 4 Turtles have to come together as brothers. And as they're going through the levels, whether it's this way or through a tunnel or whatever, the Technodrome, wherever it may, just like a video game. They have to go through and they have to overcome different problems that they have internally. Like, oh, you're the reason why April or Splinter got captured, or you're this. Oh, it's because you did this. It's because you did this. So every time they go through one area and fight, they have to come to graphs. So you can have a little more of that brotherly stuff, and they have to come together, and that's how they end up coming together. Because in the beginning, there's fighting, bickering with each other, and they keep on getting their butt kicked, and bad things keep happening, and eventually they come together, and they're able to go through and save whoever it is at the end of the tunnel. That's all you have to do. It'd be awesome. You can show them basically doing all this cool ninja fighting stuff all the way through, and then you could have those more somber moments where they're sitting there talking, working on their personal differences as a family. Stuff like that. They don't know if Splinter's alive at the end, so they have that. They have to carry their weight with them. Some of them get injured, maybe left behind. Who knows? Stuff like that. You make it really cool like that, boom. That's a great movie. You can make probably for, I don't know, you'd have to probably do CGI for the turtles, which makes it really expensive. That's the problem. But you could do it for probably 100 million. Not very many set pieces. That's what you got to go with. Not very many set pieces. And then it's mostly, and it's in the shadows most of the time, so therefore CGI is easier. There. That would be a cool movie. I guarantee you that would make a lot of money. I mean, look at all the other R-rated movies. Deadpool made like $1 billion. Joker, $50 million budget, made $1 billion. You can make it happen. This is what the people want. This is what I want. Nonetheless, Turtles, Mutant Mayhem is an average film, and as a Turtles fan, I would say it's a disappointment because, I mean, I'm happy that I get something Turtles, but at the same time, I wish I would have got something different.